Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Spar and Brawl. I hope you're having a decent day. As always, of course, I'm joined by my co-host Sam, and we're back with another episode of the Progressive World. So today's episode might be slightly shorter than usual episodes, as you can tell. I'm once again traveling, but it's all good. Sam doesn't travel much, so he's like my carbon buddy. He offsets all my emissions, so it's all good. But anyway, as per usual, please like and even more
Yeah, we have
importantly, huh? No, go ahead.
so I was just gonna say we have a carbon exchange thing like European
Exactly.
Union. You can swap, like with our friends, we swap our. I offset quite a lot of people around me. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what we're doing. So it's all good. But yeah, so please like and even more importantly, subscribe. And as per usual, timestamps are down below for all the segments that we're going to do. So here's a quick overview. We're going to start with our chit chat as per usual. And we got a shout out, which we're going to be discussing during the chit chat. That was really awesome. Then we have a very short progressive world online where we're going to go back to Emma Camp and because she wrote that article last week, which she discussed about self-censorship. So right after we finished our segment, she went on the Rising. They received it quite differently as we did, to say the least. So we're just going to discuss that quickly, and then we'll move on to progressive geopolitics. There's Russia, Ukraine going on, so we're going to have to discuss that. Uh, Grayzone had General Macgregor on. I think I said his name correctly, and they already have like over 100,000 views. I mean, you could really tell people were looking for that kind of content on their channel. Of course, other channels do that kind
General
of.
General Macgregor, also known as a living GI Joe.
Exactly. Exactly. I know.
He's literally like an action figure. So funny. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a
So,
compliment.
yeah. But in terms of views, I was like, I was really surprised that it did that well. Of course, you see like Jimmy Dore does those kind of views easily, but for this kind of content with him, that was good. On the pushback, I think last time he probably did around 30 or 40,000. So that was really great. And you could tell in the comment section, people were loving it. I was looking for a little bit of hate. I was like, is there something hate here to like pick up and have some fun? But everybody's like, this is amazing. This is amazing. So never mind. Then we'll discuss a few other stories concerning Russia, Ukraine before moving on to the Iran deal. Once again, there have been developments. Last week, we spoke about them pausing because of Russia's demands and concerns, but they seem to have moved on. But anyway, Sam will explain that. And then there have also been some earthquakes in Japan, which Sam will bring to our attention. And then we'll
And
wrap,
Iran.
and Iran, okay. And then we'll wrap up with a few articles. Anything you want to mention about the articles?
No, but they are equally as important as Ukraine story, if not more so.
Okay, brilliant.
Sorry,
Yeah, we both froze, but I
you
think we're
broke up
both,
for a second.
yeah, we both froze, but we're back up.
All right.
I could hear you. And then we'll wrap up with some progressive tweets as usual. But okay, Sam, let's move on straight to the chit chat. So someone wrote in our comment section and brought it to our attention. That's how we found out we weren't actually listening to that episode of the Callin. But let me get the person's name right here. So Ete Gravitas, I believe, and told us that, quote, a wonderful person named Rena, and she really is wonderful, gave us a shout out on the Useful Idiots Callin. So I'm going to play exactly what she said right now, as well as Aaron Maté and Katie Halper's
Uh,
response.
I just wanted to mention another YouTube channel where you two are frequently highlighted. It's called Spar and Brawl, and I would recommend it to everyone. It's two guys talking. They're not Americans, and they have a very interesting worldview, and they're also probably better informed about American everything than a lot of people in America are. And you both feature prominently either from Useful Idiots or your own shows, Katie and Aaron. And Aaron especially, you frequently are highlighted on a portion of the show that's called Progressive Tweets. especially when you and Anna Kasparian get into it. So I would recommend that for everybody's edification. They certainly deserve more subscribers than they have. And again, thanks to you both.
Thank you. Thanks for the recommendation
And if people
and the kind words.
during the Monday morning stream, but we have a Substack only segment.
Okay, now we have listened to that. So yeah, the shout out was amazing. Really appreciate everything that Rena said. So thanks a lot. And it did actually bring us some subscribers immediately. I mean, we don't have that many subscribers, but I went on my phone, I checked, and there was like a boost of 10 or 12 people, and we hadn't uploaded anything. I was like, whoa, what is going on? And then I saw the comment and I found out.
Yeah, we are not used to it. We are used to like 1 subscriber per month, like added. So, it
so
was
what did you
super
make?
Nice. I mean, she said that we are informed, which is, I don't think is very accurate, but that was sweet. And what was I gonna? I mean, you told me it's kind of normal, but I don't listen to this. What I found somewhat like, I was so embarrassed because I was like she didn't even ask a question. She literally just plugged our show. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. But but that's normal, you said.
Yeah,
but
first,
just call and talk. You don't have to ask a question.
I mean, you kind of have to, but it kind of reminds me. Well, first, let me say this. First, she did also give them, tell them, good job and everything, all that with your useful idiots covering Sundays and everything. And then she talked about that Huffington Post journalist who used to do the same, and she thinks that the guy's gone AWOL now.
Lose the planet. Yeah, I can't do this anymore. I'd rather die.
But then she gave us a shout out, but she really did link it to them as well. She said you guys feature prominently, especially you, Aaron, in Progress Tweets. But yes. Coming back to your question, I mean, I've listened to a few of them. I haven't listened to many, but yeah, people often just call and they have a long comment often, and then perhaps kind of half question-ish. Some people do ask questions, of course. But what it reminds me? It's kind of when you go to some kind of, lecture or presentation at universities, and at the end they open it for questions and answers.
Q&A,
and then people most of the time just comment on something. If you're lucky, it's related to the presentation. If not, it's a comment about nothing. And then some people do ask questions, and people want to engage and they want to talk. You can't just call and ask a question.
It's the closest thing, I think. I mean, it is the modern. I don't think it's even close to. It is basically, call-in radio. I mean, it's called call-in anyway. Yeah, I mean that they still. So well, it was super nice. I mean, I was very did not expect that, and it brought. I mean, even after that night, during the next couple of days, we still got. I think people are still maybe listening, or I don't know. We got basically far more than our usual.
So that was great, and it was early on relatively. It's around the 28th minute, so I think quite a few people it was in the sweet spot.
I mean, my narcissism to check out our own reference led me to check out the app. It's a pretty good app, I must say. It's weird. It doesn't first of all, it's good because you can, based on the name of the people and stuff, you can just but it's weird. You can't. I mean, at least in Android, I don't know. Do you have Android or Apple?
No, I have Apple.
But you can't control it from. Can you control it from the main screen? It's not.
I know what you mean. I mean, I know what you're talking about.
Where notifications.
Yeah.
It wasn't there, so that was odd. But besides that, it was a very good app, and there's a transcript, which is pretty cool. That's
really?
Pretty cool,
oh wow.
Yeah, you apparently for some episode after a while transcript is there. Yeah.
Okay, no, I haven't listened to it enough to check whether it shows up on your. If it doesn't show up on your front, on your notification screen, that would be kind of annoying. But yeah, the app, I downloaded and I've used it twice, and I knew immediately where to go find the content and everything. So in that sense, it was kind of easy. And there's that scissor symbol where you can chop things, I believe. And that I clicked on it, but I wasn't able to use it. So I just recorded my screen in order to get the Rena's comment and mention. Yeah,
I've heard it's apparently easy to cut bits and then like share them like on WhatsApp or social media. That's I don't know. I assume the scissor bit is for that. Like you can highlight shit. I mean, I love that we're working through our sort of. So you think if you press enter, this will not exist? But yeah.
But okay,
But
all
it was
right.
good app. It was very good app. Yeah.
So okay, let's talk about one more thing then. Though. What did you make?
Technologically, basically backwards.
What did you make of Aaron and Katie's response though to the shout out? Aaron said, "Thanks for the recommendation."
That was nice.
Katie, I don't think she acknowledged it at all because Rena did mention, because Rena did mention that we talk about Anna versus Aaron, and she just right away went and plugged their own things. Like, yeah, you can go on Useful Idiots and see the last time Aaron got attacked by Anna.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, whenever I watch Katie Halper show or something, she's on the computer, even when she's interviewing people, and you can clearly see her eyes. And I do that myself, even when I'm talking to you a lot, that I like when you're talking, because I'm completely narcissistic, I just stop listening to you and start like, okay, that's interesting. Reading the news at the same time. So I think she does the same. And it felt, as soon as she heard the Anna thing, she went like, yes, we did this. That was, by the way, they put
let's discuss that now. We can, because it doesn't really fit into any of our things, so we can even bring it up.
Could have kind of connected to Ukraine, but yeah, you're right. But it was, it's the shorter version is on YouTube, but as subscribers of Useful Idiots, I mean, even though we are cheap, we did manage to subscribe to it. But yeah, it was a good response. I think they, I mean, I get it was.
So it was about this again.
Response.
Yeah, it was about. I'm just gonna say what it was about. It was, it was like one of the first stories from the Russia-Ukraine war, like the latest phase of it, where there was a story where the Russians told the Ukrainian, soldiers on this island, like, if you don't surrender right now, and then they apparently they said like, no, fuck you, and the Russians killed them all or something. And hold on, I'll say my version, and then you can fill in the holes.
No.
And then Cenk tweeted, this is my motto now, like, I'll say fuck, blah, blah, blah. And Aaron told him, go check your facts. And then Cenk and Anna respond saying, we did check our facts, and I still want to say this. And Aaron is like, I don't know what you're on about. You can have whatever motto you want. What I'm telling you is that didn't happen in that way, and that was misinformation. But go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, all right, okay. At the end, you kind of made it correct.
What do you mean? I was telling the full story. I was going chronologically.
I feel like, I mean, look, I love, by the way, the first time I heard this story, I know everybody thought it was such a brave story. First time I heard this story, I thought it's a story, like it's a propaganda from the Russian side. Because the story was that the Russian side says that put down your weapons or, we have to use force. And they say, fuck off Russians, which is like, I mean, okay, even when you're at war, you can, respect etiquette. They're asking politely, to put down your weapons. You can say no. Why do you have to use bad language? I don't get it. But, so I thought it's and then the original reporting was that they all got killed. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a Russian propaganda that sort of don't stand in our way.
Yeah, you're right. Though you're right. Like, like we're badasses, don't mess with us. I guess that's one way of also framing it.
It's not even like badass in a stoic badass as we warn you, but if you don't, like a typical movie good guy who's tough guy. I thought it was from that angle. Then I found out, no, it's a, angle from they're heroic, which I don't find like that type of action heroic anyway. Like if you're facing the Mongolian Empire trying to run over your town, just fucking submit. There is no need to, maybe
and that's why we're not in the army.
But yes, thankfully. But
Sam surrenders in advance. He picks up his gun and then he just drops it off right away. Okay, I'm done. I'm dead.
Guys, they made it. their tone was slightly threatening. I think we should surrender.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, guys. But I mean, the response from, first of all, I like that tweet by Aaron was pretty good because I was checking it the other day, and it's Jeng saying that my motto is "Go fuck yourself" or something, Russians.
Yeah.
And then Aaron like his tweet, I forget what it is, but ends with "Go fact check yourself,"
Yeah.
which kind of it rhymes, so it's poetic, really. Yeah, but then in the response video they state what everybody else has stated, that their fact checking was not about the motto, Jeng's motto. It was about the those guys.
Did they really not
people.
get it? Did Anna and Jeng really not get it? I mean,
No,
is
of
this
course they got it.
Okay.
Of course they got it, but they're just ignoring that. It's kind of like, it's like a lot of people, like whoever you criticize online, they say that, oh, I'm being criticized for being a Russian tool or for being an American tool or whatever. They never wanna, like, no, you're just being criticized for being an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're being paid by anyone for your idiocy. You're just an idiot. But yeah, so yeah, I think they know, but they just, like I'm saying, with politicians do the same. Nobody wants to acknowledge good faith criticism. Everybody goes for they're attacking us because they want to go after us because we are famous, because we're blah. And sometimes it's true, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I assume it is true sometimes. But yeah, I assume they're not, they have basic human intelligence. I mean, they can't be that. I mean, Jeng maybe when he's angry just loses certain amount of intelligence.
Yeah. So honestly,
as the blood goes into the skin instead of the brain. So
that was a good one.
I assume he gets so red. He gets like fucking red lights. Jesus Christ, it's redder than this.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Maybe 50-50 for me. Like maybe they realized, maybe they didn't.
Anna teaches at a university for fuck's sake.
She used to. I don't know. She still though. I don't know anymore. Maybe we need to go do a follow-up story. It was like 6 or 7 months ago when we checked out, her university stuff. So maybe a follow-up story is needed to see.
What's the dress code at the university system?
To see if that is still going on. But yeah, okay. But anyway, the shout out was amazing. Really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get one of these days on YouTube. That would really help because the Vanguard boys got a big boost when Katie and Maté like mentioned them like 3 or 4 episodes in a row and did that whole thing of we're watching you, you're watching me. We don't, maybe not that, but just maybe another shout out on their YouTube show.
We have to create we have to find a joke they make sometime about like Assad or Putin or something and really run with it as a breaking news.
True.
Putin coming on Useful Idiots to interview. Guest host this week, Sergey Lavrov. But yeah,
that would be a good one. But yeah, okay, let's keep the chit chat moving along. You said you watched a few things this week. What were they? Any of them really worth mentioning, especially?
Yeah. I mean, I watched, everything was good, to be honest. Everything I watched was okay. I mean, one of them was, I watched Spider-Man No Way Home. And yeah, I mean, I know you have a soft spot for original Spider-Man.
No, for all Spider-Man, he's the only superhero that I ever really liked. Yeah, but continue.
Really? God, he's my least favorite superhero. And a spoiler alert, like if anybody hasn't seen, he's my least favorite superhero because he's just, I hate his stories because everybody who's a bad guy in his life is either his cousin or his former professor or a guy who used to be in his apartment. Like he knows everybody. This is ridiculous. Like, there is
but the center of universe is New York. So I guess like his whole planet is New York. So I guess if you go like smaller and smaller, it makes sense.
It's like every bad guy he has had a history with in his childhood. Or
a very close one. Like his best
Yeah, yeah,
friend's
not
dad,
even
like
like-
his professor, his best friend himself, you know, his
Exactly.
direct competitor when it comes to photography. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that of him. I hate every story that it turn out like a friend of anyway. But yeah, but No Way Home was very disappointing. But
But it
like,
has all
what's
the
his name?
Spider-Mans, right? So, and all the different actors play the different Spider-Mans.
Oh, you know that? I thank
Yeah,
God
yeah,
I
I've
saw
seen the
this. Yeah, yeah,
trailer.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, the original guy comes back. Everybody comes back.
Mhm.
And I must say, I still think the Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, is probably the best in my view because he's basically the losers of Spider-Man. He's just the most emotionally broken. But the original Spider, Tobey Maguire, I don't know if
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire can't act or he's just bored because
No.
I've seen him in things that is the.
I mean, I'll give you this.
proves-
Hold on. So I like the first series of Spider-Man because, of course, I watched it as a kid. I haven't even watched the second one with the actors that you just
Amazing
said.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. And yeah, you are right. I mean, of course, it's probably definitely not good. And even then, and I don't know much about acting and I rarely like judge people's acting, but he was definitely off in it. Like, I don't know, maybe he thought that's how Peter
He's
Parker
one of
is,
the-
and he was trying to be like awkward, but like he just comes off really awkward. What about the awkwardness? Is that the kind of vibe you get from the acting? I don't know.
It's the vibe I get from Tobey Maguire always. Like even in interviews, it's his eyes, the fact that he doesn't blink much, and he's got this sort of a again, it's kind of Nick Bronner thingy, sort of a serial killer. Hi, I'm Tobey Maguire. I don't know. I find something really odd about him. I completely. It's the hair, maybe. I don't know what's.
Yeah.
And he's been, especially when he does comedy. He was in this. I forget the name. He was in this really funny comedy with Will Ferrell,
Mhm.
sort of narrating. I forget what it was called, but it was like a soap opera, like they were making fun of soap opera. But anyway, it was pretty bad. Benedict Cumberbatch, American accent is getting better, but it's still pretty atrocious. Like, I'm from New York, you know. Come on, man. But and the guy who plays the Spider-Man, he's British and he does it perfect. Like, he's really good at his American accent. But overall, very disappointing. I was glad Alfred Molina is getting paid, so that's nice.
Okay.
The Duck Hawk guy. I love him. He was my favorite, I would say. Between all the family of the villains that the Spider-Man has, I like Duck Hawk the most. But that was terrible.
What about Venom
Yeah.
or what about Black Spider-Man? I mean, they're pretty cool. No? No? Never mind then. Let's
Venom is considered, it was such a 90s, like, let's be edgy, muscle, dark, I'm dark, I eat. But I must say, I like the Venom movies more than, have you seen them?
Yeah, I
Tom
think I've
Hardy?
seen one of them. Yeah, I've seen the Tom Hardy one. But like, yeah, I think one. I don't know if there are multiple, but yeah, I think so.
There's two, yeah. He features in this one in the post credit scene as well. Yeah, and it's I would say what's it called? Venom is at least funny, and it doesn't take itself as seriously as these movies, as you know. I mean, the major problem with Marvel movies is that they take themselves seriously in a sense that they try to ask big questions like, civil war and shit, or security, or freedom, that would take. But then in the third act, because they can't come to a proper conclusion, because the proper conclusion would be like, okay, fuck, superheroes are, can't work. None of this makes any sense. So they just ends up being like, you killed my mom, and yes, oh, god damn it, and yeah, it was terrible. It's pretty terrible. But yeah, William Dafoe was in it. Doc Ock was in it. That was nice. So Alfred Molina. So I enjoyed that. It's surprisingly, they get great amount of actors, man. Oh, who's the guy from?
Well, why not? I mean, they're a big series.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. No, it's just it's. Yeah. I wish there was the guy from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Which one?
The guy who moves in with Larry.
Oh, really? He's in it? Leon?
Yeah, he's in it. Leon, yeah, Leon. He's in it. Oh my, the best scene is Leon and the guy from Silicon Valley and Hannibal Buress, the stand-up comedian, the guy who exposed, not exposed, but like made it big that Bill Cosby is basically a rapist.
Mhm.
Like they are the teachers in his high school, and there's just a single scene with them, and that's the best scene in the movie because two of them are just like, "Oh, you're a hero," because they find out he's a Spider-Man.
Mhm.
You're the best, and Hannibal guy is just like, "No, man, Mysterio was right. You're you're conspiracy. He's a complete conspiracy theorist. No, he's a lie. He's a criminal. He needs to be in jail." Like, so good. Well, yeah, Leon is the best. I mean, he's so good. So that was the best scene. But
Yeah,
talking
Leon
of
is
better,
insanely hilarious in Curb Your Enthusiasm. But yeah, continue.
he's so good. I watched on the TV show front. I also watched the Tourist. Like it's set in Australia, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
Just came out. Jamie Dornan or whatever, Irish actor who I really personally like. He was in a movie called Siege of Jadotville, which is really good, fantastic war movie. But yeah, The Tourist was really disappointing because like it's about a guy who is in a car accident and then he has amnesia, and then it's in a sort of a Australia's outback. It's kind of like has a Western noir, but with a vibe, Western noir, but in Australia sort of vibe to it. But now I haven't seen the last episode, but so far like it became really disappointing because it's very stylized and I love the style and the cinematography and all that, but it's the usual arty party, just so many boring long shots for no reason. Like I want to talk to the editor and just fucking cut like 20. You can cut 20 seconds from every. Do I need to see every? And then secondly, very disappointingly cliche. I don't know, like the amnesia thing. I thought they're gonna do something original with it, but then amnesia thing, and then there's this love thing. There's a bad guy who's got a split personalities of some kind. It's becoming very cliche. The only thing new about it is like the setting and the stylization, rather than anything to do with the story or characters. Really.
I see. But you must really have not liked it if you haven't watched the last episode yet and you managed to control yourself.
Yeah, it's just because I can see like everything.
Yeah. But
I mean, especially in the last episode I watched, I got really annoyed because something was so fucking cliche about like a love triangle that I fucking hate. So like some like low. Have you seen Banshee, the TV show? Oh man, you should watch. That's a great TV show. That's a great TV show to watch with dad as well. Like it's a great father-son time. It's like a lot of fights for no reason. But in the Banshee, it's the same sort of this criminal that falls in love with the daughter of the main criminal or his wife. It's Troy. It's the same story as Troy. It's so fucking boring and repetitive. So yeah, that was very disappointing.
This TV show is definitely not for me. But but the part about filming, and you said you can shorten the scenes. Like, although there's a camera angle and my video can't tell right now, I really enjoy filming a lot. Not that I'm good at it, but I really enjoy like filming much more than photos and photography. So, I mean, if it's really done nicely, I don't mind if it's like a longer scene where, they zoom out of like a can and then it goes, I don't know, and then they show like a scenery, like all of these kind of things. If it's done really well, I do really enjoy it. I mean, I find like anything on film, except me right now, looks much better than in real life. Like on film, things look amazing. I love it.
No, I agree. And film or photos, they look, I mean, if anybody's seen any historical place close by, they suck. They always suck close by. They smell and they are much smaller than you were promised. And, it's, yeah, I agree with you. But I mean, look, this is not a fucking nature documentary. I come to watch a movie for a story. It's not for fucking like I hate this artsy partsy, like showing you 3 minutes of it. That's the Stalker movie. I'm telling you, man. Do you remember this old? It's a very famous arty party movie, a Stalker by what's the guy? I forget his name. Soviet guy. Anyway, it's from Soviet 1970s or something. And there's like, I think it's in that movie. There's like a 20 minutes scene where the guy just walking across a field and fuck off. Like seriously, like.
But
I
was it
can
a
take
nice
picture.
field? Was it shot nicely?
Yes, very nicely. But take a picture. It lasts far longer. It's just. And what's the point? Oh, the point is to give the sense of boringness of life. Fuck off! I can get the boringness.
But you can
of
enjoy
life
it.
on my
Like
own.
you can enjoy it. You can be like,
I can't.
oh,
I can't. I get frustrated, and I'm like, what's? Come on, let's go. Like, what is this? Yalla, has this. What is this nonsense? Give me actual food.
I see. Nice. Anything else? Have you watched anything else?
I get very frustrated.
No.
Yeah. On the other hand, I watched the Adam Project, and it's really funny, man. The Adam Project is Ryan Reynolds, isn't it?
Old
And
or new?
No, it just came out
That
2 weeks ago. It came out on Netflix. Yeah,
okay,
very
nice.
new. But it's Sean Levy, and Sean Levy worked with Ryan Reynolds on Free Guy as well. And I think it's really both Free Guy and this movie. I think Sean Levy might be the most sort of radical director working right now. There is so many both in that movie and in this movie. It's if you wanna like, I think it's one of the better critical movies of capitalism without being in your face and with being actually fun at the same time. And kind of deep. There is even you can say in this one, the Adam Project, there is definitely Freudian sort of concepts in there. With the father, and then there is because the concept is you've seen very early on in the movie is that the guy travels back in time and comes to his own childhood.
Yeah, don't share too many spoilers in this one. I might.
No. That's it. Yeah. But it's great. I mean, both Free Guy and this movie makes me think Sean Levy is really. I feel like he's fooling studios through use of. And audiences. He uses sort of. It's really funny. He uses existing sort of famous pop culture things, but I feel like he does something new with them. Unlike a lot of Marvel movies and a lot of things that they just try to reference something for the sake of referencing it, especially Free Guy. But even this one was really, very, I would say that pretty anti-capitalist, very not anti-necessary, very anti-corporate, very, very interesting movie. And Arcane, I just started watching Arcane. I haven't, it's a TV show, animation, based on League of Legends,
No. You had a nice
weekend, huh? Well, fantastic. Staring at the screen. But Arcane that's also has it's very interesting. I've only seen 4 episodes so far, but so far it's got social commentary and all that. Very good, very good. The music, the animation style is very unique, very good. Arcane TV. Yeah, it's. I think I don't know if you like it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I doubt you like this. It's
not that I would hate it necessarily. I wouldn't
No,
necessarily.
but it's not your aesthetic.
But
I love steampunk stuff, and it's very steampunkish. So
it looks pretty. I mean, the pictures and stuff look pretty cool. But yeah,
the animation is really. It's almost like a perfect balance between Japanese anime and realism of like
it looks
American
like
European art.
Nice.
So yeah. On the other hand of those 2 shows, it's just this show and this movie.
The good and the bad you shared here.
The good and the bad. Yeah, the good and the bad here.
Let me tell you though what I'm super excited to watch. So this came out exactly a week ago. No, on the 11th. But I've told my wife and my sister to wait to watch this with me. It's season 4 of the Formula 1 series on Netflix. So good. So amazing.
Formula 1 series?
Man, it's insane.
Is that the competition?
Yeah, it's the racing it's the racing driving thing. And they turn it so dramatic, and it's just amazing. Like the first season is amazing. They just focus on the worst team pretty much, because especially in the first season, the best two teams don't even want to take part. But then the show was such a success, they changed their mind. But in the first season, they focus on the worst team, and they had the managers, this guy called Hans, this German guy, and he's just hilarious. So they take like one of the most like boring sports to watch. Like this year, because now I know it a bit, I was like watching some of the races. It's impossible to watch the whole thing. But in the Netflix series, man, they turn it into something amazing. So I can't wait to watch season 4 in a few days when I'm back.
What is it?
Or season
like
3 or 4, season 4, season 3 or 4. Let me see. Sorry, what were you saying?
Is it like
Season 4, yeah.
Is it like overcoming like a underdog versus Goliath type of thing? Like, you focus on the loser, so over time you see them overcome shit. And
a little bit. I mean, a little bit. They kind of, each episode, they kind of focus on one team, right? And then they just dramatize it, you know, in different ways. Like in the first season, they did really focus on the underdog, but the underdog never overcomes anything in Formula One. It's always the best team. Like it's always between one or two racers, because no matter how good of a driver you are, if you don't have the best car, it's always that one who wins. So, you know, they can, but they find a narrative within a particular race. So yeah, they do. Exactly. That's what they do, kind of.
This reminds me, the British guy,
Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton. He's Formula One, or he's the normal car?
No, he's Formula One and he's vegan. So he's the one I...
Oh, really? You like him?
Because he's vegan, yeah.
I must say, I mean, okay, yeah, I've seen him in a couple of interviews, I think on Graham Norton and somewhere. Not the sharpest. Anyway.
They're all, I mean, like, it's not like, whether you think he's sharp or not, putting that aside, you know, all of them would be the same. Like, you know, whatever, however they would talk, and they're in that world. And of course, he's very sharp when it comes to driving. So I mean, in that area, he's definitely smart and intelligent.
Anyway, but I remember what was it? I remember a couple of months ago or a year ago, he was in a competition, but then some Iranian dude apparently had a crash with him in a competition, and he didn't achieve the title of becoming the most successful. And man, I remember a couple of my students, I had no idea Formula One had like hardcore. They were like, oh my God, this is such an unfair results. He could have been the top guy to have. It was kind of like Djokovic bullshit that people were like, oh my God, if he had attended, he could have been top player of. Who gives a shit? I don't understand who gives a shit. Like,
well, people are into it.
I know, but like, okay, but even I'm into movies. I don't give a shit about who wins the Oscar. Like, you know, oh my, this injustice about the Oscar.
It's because
grow the fuck up. I'm not 5 anymore.
I think I mean, to me, all of these things, you know, I think I've said this before with sports and everything else. By the way, I think the driver talking about, there's like this Iranian, Swedish, Canadian driver. But anyway, I think you get emotionally attached to the people because you get to know them a little bit through TV and what they present. So I think that is kind of that's why I think that kind of happens. So like, you know, then you know a little bit more about this person compared to the other one. So you just end up cheering. I mean, it's really funny. I watch UFC a lot, right? The fight can be amazing. If you don't know who they are, like, you care so much less. But when you know who the fighter is, even if they've done like one shitty interview where they like kind of said, oh yeah, this really means a lot to me, or blah blah blah, like the most stereotypical thing, then you care for the person. Then you care for the person. Or if you don't, you know, it's just, so I'm guessing it has something to do with that, but I don't know, it's not scientific what I'm saying.
You're right, but I never.
But you care about some actors, no? Would you not pissed if like Christian Bale, let's say, like suddenly gets like, you know, for some reason, I don't know, like not allowed to play in movies or something like that, you know, like something dramatic like that happens. Would you not care a bit?
All right, okay, let's calm down.
What if Christian Bale was murdered in front of you?
Don't take Bale's name in. Don't talk about Bale like that. As they say in Persian, bite your tongue, my friend. But yeah,
What if
no,
they chop him up in
yeah.
front of you with your
Oh, come on. Yeah, this is getting really. No, okay. I mean, yes, fair enough. If you put it there, I find it, especially with driving cars. And by the way, horse riding. I never understood this thing. It's like, the horse is doing the sport. Why are
Yeah,
you like,
but
oh my God, this horse ride? And it's the cars is the same. Like, I'm sure
the cars,
soon we will be able to have better cars,
listen,
like fast
oh,
driven remotely or something.
I just told you it comes down to the car for sure. It's always the same team. However, each team has two drivers, for instance, in Formula One. So each team has two cars on the track, and there's always one that is significantly better. Like Hamilton, he's like won all these, but his teammate who gets literally the exact same car, right, hasn't. So that's where I guess you can see the skill of the driver comes in. But then again, the car is everything, right? If you take Hamilton and you put him in a shitty car, he'll finish, second to last. He'll just beat his teammate.
Yeah, teammate is so crap. But okay, no, I'm being I'm
but
being
horse
facetious.
racing, which I don't know anything about, there I completely agree with what you're saying. But I
Come
guess
on,
the
no,
jockey
man.
knows how to like slap the horse better.
No, man,
I don't know.
yeah, well, yeah, you have to get up. Like you get up when you're racing,
Mhm.
so
True,
there is
there you
weight,
go.
there is less weight on the horse. But it's still horse is
Oh,
doing
that's
most of
why
the
they
work.
get up.
Yeah, you get up because the horse is lighter. But seriously, think you get up. You just
I don't
want
know.
and because if you don't get up, your balls and your ass will be flattened by the horses, by the
I see.
yeah. So
Yeah,
by the
no idea. I know nothing about horses. Horse riding. That's
no,
interesting.
but yeah, it
We're
wasn't
both
for
learning.
fun. Yes. But again, I just and I don't get is driving is it a sport? Like
Oh
at least
yeah.
horse riding is a sport. Do they
Oh yeah.
sweat?
Oof, like crazy. They sweat like
Really?
yeah, of course they lose like 1 or 2 kilos. I mean, since these cars are insane. I mean, I'll just give you an example of how insane this is.
How do they like you just changing gears?
No, you
That's
don't change
all.
gear like that. Just like these cars are, I mean, you don't even know how to drive it. A normal car, but these cars are insane. It's a full out sport. I mean, much more sport than perhaps a lot of the sports out there. And yeah, and driving these cars and being able to is insane. And it's so hard to drive them. For instance, in Top Gear, there was like the shorter one, like so he tries out like Formula One cars in one of the episodes, and he can't even like get the car going in a straight line. As soon as he puts his foot on the gas, the car just like turns around, like it just does a 180. Like that's how hard it is to drive his car. Like in the whole episode, he's unable to get this car going.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Is it a stick or is it
No, for a long time
automatic?
you change the gears yourself, but they're buttons on the steering wheel.
Oh, it's like a future car.
Yeah, they've been like this for a long time.
So why do they make normal cars go?
No, that's the thing too. Normal cars are also like that nowadays. I mean, they're either automatic or they have like, or if you want, they have these paddle shifts behind them. Like most automatic cars.
It's kind of like my grandpa had this old Peugeot with the stick on the side, and I loved it. It looked so much more easier than this stupid thing in the middle. So I guess we're going back. That's fun. Okay.
Yeah. But
yeah.
So I look forward to watching.
So you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's
sorry
it's
for shitting on your
I don't care. This is what we're here to do. I didn't expect anything less. If you didn't, I'd be confused. Okay, Sam is not feeling well. Maybe we should stop this podcast now.
Yeah, this is not healthy. I mean, you took your revenge by making me think so negative thoughts about Christian Bale. But yeah.
Okay. Anything else, or should we get the real party started? All right, Sam. So last week we had a bit of fun with Emma Camp's article, "I came to college eager to debate," I found self-censorship instead. And we'll come back to the headline. And so we commented after having watched her 50-minute long interview on bad faith, on at least the version put on YouTube. And, we were quite...
And reading her article.
Yeah, and we read her full article, and even in our video last week, we break down different parts of it. I highlight this ridiculous stat that she has. Anyway, in it, she argues
and
that...
it was such a long article, really.
No, listen, that's not a problem. It's fine if the article is, and it's not even particularly short. It's somewhere around the 700, 800 word region.
No. My main point is that, okay, we get to it, but just some people haven't read it, I think. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, let's get to that. So hold on. So pretty much in it, just for anyone, just summarizing really quickly, she doesn't, her problem isn't necessarily, at least the way I get it, is that the universities are, preventing this kind of speaker to speak, or telling this student, no, you can't do that, or other students protesting and like preventing a speaker to come. No, she's really complaining about how in class and also at parties. One of her example is about this guy talking about how he also self-censors at a party, and Sam and I thought that that's a reasonable thing to do every now and then.
Yeah.
That we reach that conclusion. Hold on, let me just wrap it up here. So
parties,
as you can tell,
group meetings.
Yeah, as you can tell, we were a bit dismissive of what she said, and Bree also, we felt that she tried to make it as interesting, as good as she possibly could, but she didn't seem to buy it too much either. However, then The Rising did a segment, and Robby Suave and Kim Iverson, they definitely didn't share our view. I think Ryan Grimm did. So let's pick up the story from here. I was a bit surprised so Robby Suave said that he read the article because apparently now, and Sam, look at how, what an article at the New York Times gets you. She's already been hired by Reason, which is the outlet that Robby Suave works for, Reason magazine. So she already got a job there. So, I mean, he couldn't really push back either. Is that called a conflict of, it's not a conflict of interest, but,
No, I think
it's gonna like go crazy on another journalist, like when it's not their beat or their area like that and their colleagues. So that was that. But to me, it seemed like Kim Iverson had perhaps not read the article. I'm sorry, I don't want to make any accusations or allegations. It just seemed like, because on the face of it, you think that the article is about censorship from like, the university, but at its core, at least the way I understood it, it's really not about that. So I don't know, to me, it just seemed like perhaps she hadn't, I don't know. I mean,
the problem with the article, look, the article's main argument, I think everybody would agree with the fact that, okay, groupthink and just following the herd or following the crowd can be a bad thing, and people should, especially in a scientific environment where you're trying to find out truth or whatever, like some scientific fact, it's better if people speak their mind, sure. But I think when you read her article and the way she puts it, that there is this, it's just, I don't think there is anything new about what she's describing.
I mean, that's for sure.
Relative to the past, in fact, there is, yeah. And it's, in fact, compared to the past, it's far less than it used to be. I don't, again, like, it's obviously there is a bunch of social justice warriors and a bunch of people in universities everywhere else that make a noise. But then it's kind of like, I think David Cross on Useful Idiots was saying that all these comedians that talk about cancel culture and you can't make that joke. Yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
You're just coward. Like, I'm sorry, but like being a coward. I feel like I can't speak my mind because somebody's gonna say something mean to me. Oh, fuck off, grow up. Like, I'm sorry, but on tweet, and then Kim Iverson and Robby Suave are like, and everybody else is like on Twitter. Everybody sort of proved their point of the article.
I don't understand
I
how.
think you guys, because they said like she's talking nonsense.
Yeah.
Basically.
So how is that proving it? That's exactly what
God,
she wants.
If you say, no, that's No. And apparently, as soon as you say somebody's talking nonsense, it's like you're saying she should be cancelled, and it's like, oh, I'm attacking her free. I don't know.
I hope
I'm
she writes
guessing,
more
if you
articles. I
say
want her to
somebody's
write more.
bullshit is bullshit. It's as like
Please
Tom
print
Friedman
more.
style, like
Yeah.
right. Please go on, give
Yeah.
us your views, Whoopi Goldberg style. Give us your views on like
Yeah.
oppression of. And by the way, we said.
But I'm glad
last
you
time,
brought that
said,
up.
No,
Yes.
I want to make you correct. You said last time she's a left. She's a right libertarian. Which left libertarian, I don't know what the fuck that is, but from what I understand, it's the hip version and the today's version of I'm a socially liberal but fiscally conservative type. I assume it is that, but I don't know. I guess it's some bullshit like that. Yeah.
I see.
Like,
I'm
I'm for all the sexes. I'm for all the sexes not paying taxes. I'm fine with black people also, being corrupt or,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even really get her own politics out of it, or even what that means. But I'm glad you brought up that point. I didn't understand why they were saying, yeah, the backlash proves your point. No, the backlash disproves your point, if anything, because people are saying, hold on, I'm raising my hand. No, I want to tell you, I don't agree with what you're saying. So it was the exact opposite. So I didn't get that part either. But then Ryan Grimm, though, he goes to say, like, he reads the headline of the article. I came to college eager to debate, found self-censorship instead. But then he said, hold on, let me say what he says. And then he goes, but, like, you don't want to just have this bro debate culture. I understood it as, you don't want to debate for the sake of debating. And I would also add that in a class, I wouldn't want to participate in a random debate that has nothing to do with the reading. So I'm adding that. That's not Ryan Grimm. And her response to this was that I didn't write the headline. And then Kim Iverson and Robby just laughed it off. And they were like, yeah, she did. And then I was like, okay, that's the biggest cop out. Okay, I know that you don't often write the headline, but you should take the headline is like, maybe it's not that different from what she was saying. Maybe she doesn't use those exact words, but I'm pretty sure the headline is not like, an absolutely random headline.
I don't think it is, considering if you read her reading, I think it does sort of correspond with what the fuck she's written in her article. First of all, second of all, this is a tactic she used in Brianna's interview as well. As soon as she's called upon to give a specific example, look, I'm sorry, but if you say something that, for example, Whoopi said in a fucking like a postgraduate like seminar that, Holocaust wasn't about race. People should fucking say that, oh, maybe you need to like shut the fuck up and read up or something.
Yeah.
People should call you out, right? So it depends on you can't, some ideas can't be discussed. And then you say, what ideas? Well, I don't want to give a specific examples because somebody might find out who, so fuck off.
Oh, so now you don't want to bring attention to yourself.
Yeah. You don't want to give a specific examples of any situation. You don't want to. You haven't written the titles. You don't want to take responsibility for that. You haven't edited the article. Even pre-interview, she was talking about how it like the article came out through. Just stand by what you're written, or say, okay, I was wrong. Like
I know. Hold on, and Sam, look at this.
It was just like the interview with that Canadian reporter guy. I'm sorry, guys. We have the age of consent for a reason. If you're above 18, you should be treated as an adult. As she, by the way, constantly says, I should be treated like an adult. It's this atmosphere is not good. Fuck off. Anyway, so above 18, you're an adult. If you work for an organization, you should be able to sort of answer for that organization or say that, okay, I'm just doing it for the money. Two, if you write something and you're having it published by somebody else, you can't just, as soon as, the title, I'm sorry, but if you gave up the control, like if you gave up the control of them writing the title, them like editing your article, like complete, like, so what's, anyway.
And Sam, let me say this, and it is normal for often, like sometimes you suggest a headline, but it is normal because they have New York Times has people whose job is to only come up with headlines. Like they don't write articles, they don't edit articles, they come up with headlines. But listen to this. The first part of her headline was, I came to college eager to debate, okay? In the fourth paragraph, she wrote, quote, I went to college to learn from my professors and my peers. I welcomed an environment that champions intellectual diversity, rigorous disagreement. Instead, my college experience has been defined by strict ideological conformity. I mean, the headline
That's
seems
exactly
quite accurate
what
to
the
me.
headline
The headline.
Yeah, I mean,
So, and
again.
man, and Ryan
Again,
Grimm,
I don't know about. That's the thing, though. She doesn't give any specific examples.
well, she
which
gives
is,
some shitty
in my
half-ass examples. She gives like one or two, but
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Bree interview, she kept on saying,
no, I'm
no,
not talking.
because they don't want to do this. No.
No, I'm not talking about some fucking teacher saying that. Oh, I feel uncomfortable at a capello group meeting to say. By the way, why do you need to say how you feel in all these? Anyway, like I don't care about that. I'm saying what is specifically said and what is the response to that said thing. Because when you're talking as general, of course we are all for tolerance and not a strict ideological like environments, whatever. So we are all for that. But depending on what he said, not just you can write these wishy-washy articles and New York Times loves this because you don't provide any specific target. It's all a haze. It's all a haze, There is nothing you can criticize because there is nothing there.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit about, I feel it's very harsh to have a different view. Oh my God.
No, 100%. And I
Thank you
really encourage people to go read that article because you'll see, I mean, I think we're in the right here, but
again, like I've said this before, but unless you have something to add to the conversation in terms of like information or something funny to say, shut the fuck up. I don't understand why people think newspapers and YouTube, a lot of things, they think it's sort of their like AA meeting. This week I went to the restaurant and somebody looked at me funny because I was wearing weird trousers. Okay, I'm sorry, but get comfortable with getting weird looks. I don't know. Just grow the fuck up. Adults, all the other majority of people out there don't agree with you, probably don't even like you. Or it's just true about everybody. It's just get over it. They're the majority of people cry in a river.
And so I mean,
as Brie likes to say, the smallest violin like playing for Emma Kemp right now. I think, Jesus Christ! I couldn't say what I felt because they would have. Oh my God! They might have said something that's against what I said. It's so cruel. The idea that I must be challenged. Well,
I guess, and then she's saying people are doing exactly what she was kind of doing. She's like, people want self-censor because they don't want to get into like shitty debates and stuff. And that part is true, but I don't want to rehash we had so much fun with this in the last episode. People should really go check it out. She has a ridiculous stat that's meaningless. I'm not going to bring it up again. You can go check it out. So I want to mention one more thing that was new. And again, it was like the Ryan Grimm hate segment, because Ryan Grimm asked what I found to be a very cool and reasonable question. She was like, where were you when this went viral? Hey, this is your first big article that went viral. It's like a big break. And the proof is in the pudding that she got this job. She was like,
I didn't understand the question though.
Where were you? Where were you when this article went viral?
Didn't it went viral a week ago?
No, but like asking her where she was. Ryan Grimm was asking this question to Emma.
What does that? So I know, but she was on. What do you mean? Where was she? Like
where were you? Like what were you doing? Like what were you doing when you suddenly saw that this article had had gone viral? What were you up to? Like what was that time? And I found that to be a fun question to ask her because it is a big break in her career. This has led to her getting this new job. She's being talked about and everything. So maybe here you agree with Kim Iverson and Robby Soif because they were like, what kind of question is this? What do you mean? Where were you when you went viral? But I found it was just like a fun question for it to wrap up. And she said, she did actually say something like that. She was like, yeah, I was away.
I don't.
She was like, hold on. She was like, I was away at a cottage. I didn't have much signal. And then I saw that the article had been published and my phone was blowing up and my Twitter was like, I was getting all these tweets and mention. I found it to be like a fun question to ask her because it is a big moment in her life. But maybe I'm the only one, me and Ryan Grimm are the only one who found this to be a decent question.
No. Okay, no, at first I thought by where were you was more in a like as metaphorical sense, as in where were you in your studies,
because she didn't necessarily know, right? It's not like she published, she like uploaded the article as well.
Yeah.
Even that, if imagine one of her videos suddenly picks up, like, and I suddenly check my phone and I see, wow, I got all these views. I would remember where I was and stuff. So I mean, I found it to be a relevant question.
I don't remember, people always say like, I remember when 9/11 happened. I remember when Obama got elected, when Trump got elected. I don't remember any of this. I really don't.
These aren't big moments.
To me, that's pretty. At 9/11, come on, that was
9/11. For that, I remember exactly where I was, and I remember exactly how I found out.
I don't remember anything about 9/11. I don't remember being alive. 9/11. I remember I have like much more vivid memories of Pinky and the Brain from the same era. Do you remember Pinky and the Brain?
I heard, a little bit, but I never really watched it.
Yeah. So I can tell you where I was when I watched Pinky and the Brain, like season 3, episode 2, but I can't tell you where I was when 9/11 happened.
Well, I guess that was a big moment in your life when you were watching that. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say except us repeating everything we said last week. So
no, what really pissed me off
more
this week than last week though was that this idea that Twitter has proven her right. I mean, okay, you can't, like, are you for freedom of speech or not? Can we can we criticize or not criticize? I mean, if we criticize, then we are creating a culture that leads to self-censorship. If we don't criticize, we are self-censoring. So what the fuck do we have to, like, what is this?
I think there
catch-22 situation,
I think you summarized it perfectly. I think that's exactly what you said. Just summarized it perfectly. Her article, the response, and then her response to the response. But
the response to the response to the.
But yeah, look forward to reading more. I hope her other articles remain as interesting, and she doesn't start writing something not as interesting.
I hope, I'm seeing, very. I hope she seems like I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, Sam. So unfortunately, we had to move on from our last segment. Yeah, I don't want to do this, but okay, we had to. Let's move on to progressive geopolitics, and please like and subscribe. But yeah, Sam, go ahead. Why don't you kick us off here?
Yeah, so let's start with the more, like, not so much geopolitics, just news bit. There was a big earthquake in Japan's Fukushima prefecture, 7.3 magnitude earthquake. Only 4 people dead, which it tells you something about, I guess, Japanese engineering and all that. But also tells you, it's just Japan. It feels like to me like one place that nature is like every year is screaming like, don't live here. Like, there is either earthquake or a hurricane or so. I mean, earthquakes are the scariest thing to me. I can't imagine.
Have you ever been through one? Like even a small one? Yeah,
twice. Yeah. And I mean, I must say, after I was through one, it became a bit less scary. But if there's a proper earthquake, I rather just die than like these like people who survive earthquake. Fuck that, man. It's so hard. It's so so scary. It's the worst. So yeah, that's really scared me. So then, because there is no God and the world hates me, there was an earthquake and it's because there's this thing. It's in my head that because there's these tectonic plates and all that, and they're all connected. So there was the earth 7.3 0.4 magnitude earthquake in Japan. Then you had a 6 point something magnitude earthquake in southern Iran
Wow.
just this morning, I think, or last night. Let me check. But so I'm getting this. It's moving up north, and as far as I've been told, Tehran is on a fault line or something. So if they always say like Tehran is due for an earthquake because it
Wow.
hasn't had an earthquake for 200 years.
Or a
and,
big one, really. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
itself hasn't
exactly.
had,
A big one. Yeah, we've had quite a few small ones and all that. So I'm very much basically pissing myself right now.
So this might be your last.
This could be my last. If there's an earthquake, I'm out, guys. I don't want to. Yeah, man, it's a scary times. I mean, I hope nobody's hurt and all that, but I mean, 4 people are dead in the Japanese case.
Yeah, any casualties in Iran?
I couldn't find. It's the goddamn news is dominated by Ukraine, and yes,
Yeah.
I can't find it.
But yeah, the Japanese are super prepared about it. I mean, you even hear about things that, closets are screwed into the wall and things like that. But yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah.
And that's just the beginning. That's just like, yeah.
It says it was 5.8 magnitude, not 6. I thought I read 6. Yeah.
I see.
Oh, nobody died.
Okay.
What the fuck? Look, no, not that I wanted somebody to die, but I don't know. I feel like
under 6 that happens, like, I think they can, it's still manageable.
Yeah, and it was apparently in a very deep, the earthquake happened in a 10 kilometers deep in the ground. So anyways, it's not good news.
I see. Okay, let's if there's nothing else on the earthquake anymore, let's segue to more news about Iran concerning the Iran nuclear deal.
Yeah, well, Iran nuclear deal and some other stuff. So let's start with some other stuff. There was Iran bombed a couple of positions in Kurdistani Iraq, and which, I mean, Iran claimed that they're bombing Israeli spy, like sort of clandestine operations that exist in, and this came a week or 2 weeks after Israelis claimed that they attacked and destroyed a sort of a drone depository of Iranian military. So Israelis announced that, and then, but it's really weird because there is another dimension as well, because there was also a couple of Iranian commanders killed by Kurdistani separatists previous to the bombings. So people are not sure if the bombing was in a response to Kurdistani sort of killing of commanders, or was it a response to Israeli operations. Originally, what was reported was that where they hit was civilian areas and stuff. But now, according to New York Times and some other places, it was actually, it may have been, Israeli, base or something. It could have been, because but at the same time, there's another sort of aspect going on. Iraq they're forming their government right now in the parliament, and Iran wants the Kurdistani groups to ally themselves with the Shia groups. Sadr, who is Muqtada Sadr, who people may know from Mehdi's army. He used to lead the insurgency from his previous work in cinemas all across Mehdi's army. It was his original production. He was putting up an insurgency in Basra against Mad Dog Mattis at the time, I think, but I'm not sure. But anyway, they want the Kurdistani sort of parties in the parliament to ally themselves with the Shia party. So it could have been also a sort of a show of a strength, as in, don't forget, like, come on, guys, who you have to ally yourself with. Let's not fuck around too much, So it might have been that too. but yeah, the latest is, according to New York Times, is Iran's attack was a response to secret Israeli attack on drone site. Israel and Iran are pushing the boundaries of a long-running clandestine war that is increasingly spilling out of the shadows. By Farnaz Fasihi, Ronen Bergman, and Eric Schmidt. Iran fired a barrage of ballistic missiles into Iraq over the weekend, striking what is claimed was an Israeli target and leaving some analysts scratching their heads about what exactly precipitated the blitz and why Iraq. So yeah, that's why everybody's a bit confused, because they're not, I mean, it's probably the Israeli thing seems to be the most likely thing, but I assume the Kurdish issue and the Iraqi government issue is also playing a role too. So who knows?
Yeah, I see. I know. I heard about this news, and it's unrelated. It's unrelated to this. But then there was also some news of Israel attacking parts of Syria. But then again, this has also been going on for a while. I think that was last week, though.
Yeah, I think Iran confirmed that some people got killed in that attack too, or something. Yeah, it's their proxy war is continuing to, I mean, it's crazy that I mean the hypocrisy. I mean, anyways, yeah, let's
keep it moving.
But on the Iran nuclear deal,
yeah, what's happening there?
On the Iran nuclear
so last
deal,
week, the last time we spoke was that, due to some of the demands from the Russians, they had quote unquote paused the deal. So yeah, what's happened since?
So they paused the deal. Russia apparently wanted a written guarantee that their economic activities with Iran won't be sanctioned as a part of the US thing. Then the Iranian foreign minister went to Moscow. He met with Lavrov and all that. And then the Russians announced that they have received written guarantees from the US government that the economic activities with Iran won't be sanctioned. But US net price came out saying that he said that we allow Russians to say what they want, but we never meant to sanction the activities related to the nuclear activity. So to be honest, I don't know if it could be the Russians are trying to save face because Iranians may have told them that, as there was a rumor that we're going to make a separate deal with Americans, we don't care. Or it might be Americans trying to save face by saying that, yeah, we allowed Russia, we never meant to sanction that. We never even wanted, So I don't know, probably everybody's lying. Just that's probably the case. But now, the deal seems closer than ever. And yesterday, America said that, they don't see any obstacles anymore to the deal and all that. And Axios actually reported that Biden administration is considering to remove Sepah, which is part of Iranian military, or majority of it. But they're considering removing them from an international list of sort of terrorist groups, which I think Trump put them on. So there are positive signs. Oh, and Iran released a couple of prisoners that that were in Iran that were arrested due to sort of, I mean, the allegation was that they were spies for MI6 and foreign agencies, but it seemed unlikely. And we released the hostages, British hostages, and some unrelated US government also paid back their over 40-year-old debt to Iran over some military equipment. Unrelated.
But it's
not related.
Good.
Don't insinuate.
But these are promising signs, no?
Yeah.
And the news isn't following the Iran nuclear deal in that way. Like, I mean, they are, but it's not all cameras are not on it. But so that means that
I'm glad.
yeah, it could definitely be a good thing. Doesn't bring unnecessary tension. Americans won't act like in some way. But this means that one day we could kind of wake up and there'll be reports that they're about to sign the deal or something like that. Like
Oh yeah, I
perhaps
think
in
in
the
the next
coming
week.
weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it seems so. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm famously said I don't see it happening, but yeah, it's probably gonna happen soon.
Yeah.
I'm very much. I like to see if it will. I mean, because I think there's a very good chance in 2 years we're gonna have a Republican president.
Administration.
So I wonder. Yeah, exactly. So I wonder if it will last very long.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I mean, it would just become absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I know that we live in a ridiculous world,
If they
and
leave it again.
everything that happens in politics and stuff is largely ridiculous. So again, if it happens, it could happen, but come on, that would be ridiculous for a second time. Again, doing the same thing. Like, come on, like pick a different tactic the second time, at least. I don't know. Be like, I don't know, let's amend the deal or something. Or I don't know. But I mean, doing the exact same thing again is a bit ridiculous. But hey, definitely
in
plausible.
every time I have like gone predicting the world based on this is like ridiculous, this can't happen, I've been proven wrong, including Trump election. So I really don't know.
But Sam,
man.
I've warned you before, just because that Trump thing happened. Everybody does everything in life now. I don't know. I used to think I was Kam, but after the Trump election.
Trump election. Okay, I have a lot.
I know. I'm joking.
Ahmadinejad election. I mean, it's so many things. It's just, it feels like I am increasingly coming to the belief that there is a God, but it's a cruel teenager with an ant farm. As who said that? Somebody famous said that. It's just a cruel anti-social teenager with an ant farm, and he's just playing jokes on us. Anyway.
Yeah, I see. But okay, so let's move on to a part of the world, if you don't mind, where there's a lot of media attention. Insane amount of media attention.
That's why I say I'm glad there is no media attention anymore. Man, the media, I mean, I am again increasingly like this whole fucking democracy thing is becoming a question for me, because Jesus Christ, they are literally, I mean, there's a great clip that Ryan Grim plays on the Hill by one of his colleagues that sort of puts everybody in the media, in the press room, is basically asking Jen Psaki, why don't you attack Russia? Why don't you give weapons to Ukraine? Why don't you do he said no-fly zone, so you don't want to provide no-fly zone? Are you a dick or an asshole? What is that? They can't, and
man, these journalists
Syria and Libya was the same. I don't remember Iraq I don't feel like Iraq was as bad. I don't remember journalists being, I don't know, maybe I was too young then, but it's ridiculous. This is goddamn ridiculous. Everybody's like, it's almost goating the government. Why don't you go fight? Why don't you go fight? Don't you fucking
maybe the media wants it. I mean, they're loving this. I mean, their ratings, I'm sure, back up, and it's a topic that they know how to cover. Also, I've also thought of this. They seem to be they know exactly. I mean, they know how to cover a lot of things. They have procedures and everything on, but war seems to be one of their favorites and one of their specialties. And and there have been some journalists who have been casualties, unfortunately, but they like covering it, and their questions. But I mean, these White House correspondents and stuff, every now and then there's one clip that comes around, one of them asking a quote unquote good question. That's how how rarely they ask a good question, because they have those pretty much every day. I think those press briefings with with the White House spokesperson. No, just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, a lot of things about, and we talked about it a lot, but a lot of things about the Russia-Ukraine kind of thing, surprised us a little bit. Just how far that people, even normal people, are willing to go with the way Russians, and not just oligarchs, but different people should be sanctioned. And yeah, but the no-fly zone, they're also talking about that in Syria. And there's a good chance that like 50% of the people who talk
No, in
about no-fly zone don't know what that means.
Yeah. I mean, I would say not. All the people who were protesting it in Michigan Avenue,
Yeah.
I don't think most of them knew what the fuck that meant. But I mean, these idiots, they think like international law is like, oh, again, it's kind of like the idea that, yeah, Zelensky should denazify the art. These things don't happen by themselves. You're fucking idiots. Like, there's a process to get there. And that's the whole, but yeah, it's ridiculous. And I mean, let's talk about the most recent controversy and the update is the biolab things that Russia claims there are biolabs that are that are designing bioweapons and all that. And then Nuland, who gave that amazing answer to Marco Rubio, which was just the best. Bioweapon? No, it's their biological facilities. Like, like that's where
weapons. No, weapon production factories. Yes.
No. Things. It's like, yeah, we are potentially developing lethal. Lethal. I don't know. Viruses or whatever to research the vaccines. So it's not a weapon.
Yeah.
But I mean the thing is though, I mean everybody came out in the mainstream media immediately saying this is a Russian propaganda and Chinese propaganda. And I'm guessing it is probably to an extent, but at the same time I would be very surprised if they don't have like I assume every country has that. Like, I don't know what I assume that's like what governments do. I don't know what people think governments do.
No, only Bashar Assad.
Only Bashar Assad. No, but like every government, like I'm sure even the Swedish government, there is a biolab somewhere where they're trying to develop some kind of weaponry. Or, this is like, what do you think governments do? Or what do you think like secret services do? Like, I don't get it. Like, do you think they just like, I mean, again, like, I don't even understand why America should be ashamed of anything like that. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want us to do? Like,
I guess
the real world.
And they shouldn't even be worried about being calling hypocrites and stuff because they're not. Like they can on one hand say, yeah, we have biolabs or whatever, but you can't have any. And it's not like the media is gonna come and point that out. So yeah,
we have we have better standards. Fuck you. Like exactly. I mean, even if not that, like they can just say you have them too. So and everybody does. Like it's the idea that like I'm assuming everybody has
like
a
big countries at
weapon.
least, at the very least. Like,
I'm not talking about I don't know like. Cambodia might not. Although Cambodia might actually, but it would be. I mean, it would be ridiculous if they don't. It would be far more surprising if they don't.
It's especially countries like in these kind of situations. Maybe like Uruguay doesn't have. I don't know. I'm just picking one, but like other countries in Europe, in parts of the Middle East, in East Asia. And in North America, you're right. I mean, no, Assad was the first person to think of. He developed it himself.
No, Saddam first. Although he that asshole sort of removed them just before.
He flushed it down the toilet. When like drug dealers are getting busted. They flush like that.
Just eating the shrooms as the Americans are coming in. Saddam and his sons. Don't worry. No man. There is no. I mean that is partially true though. That is genuinely true because he did have weapons of mass destruction. Including chemical weapons provided to him by Germany, Britain, France, and America, which he used on Kurdish people, but then he got rid of them because he was afraid of America, but then that didn't really help. So, I mean, again, like, look, I'm not saying it's a good thing to have a weapons program, but I don't understand this shock. Like this first of all, this dismissal by the mainstream media, and then this sort of moral outrage of, oh, like, what do you think they do? Like, these people, that's their main job, is that that
Yeah.
is the all the other stuff is a cover for that. So again, I don't get it.
Yeah, I
There is
can't
no
disagree
surprise
with
to
you
me.
too much there. And so what did you make of the General Macgregor interview
Oh,
on
that was
Grayzone? Like I mentioned, a lot of views, people really liked it. I only got to watch, unfortunately, the first half an hour, but that enough. I'm going to play a clip right now, which is the first thing that General Macgregor says that I think sums up his thoughts.
At this point, I think we have to conclude that there is a universal opposition to any peace arrangement that involves a recognition of any Russian success. In fact, if anything, it looks more and more as though Ukrainians are almost incidental to the operation, in the sense that they are there to impale themselves on the Russian army and die in great numbers, because the real goal of this entire thing is the destruction of the Russian state and Vladimir Putin. And no one is prepared to stop anything as long as there is the slightest hope that something terrible will happen to Russia and to Putin. Of course, I don't see much evidence that that's going to be the case, but it doesn't really matter here. Everyone has universally signed on for the Russian hate campaign, or hatred for Russia campaign, and that seems to go on regardless of what is reported. And frankly, the absence of much truth in reporting and a lot of wishful thinking in its place is hard to overestimate or exaggerate. It's terrible.
Okay, man. We've listened to that now, so that was really good. But then, yeah, so why don't you want to like maybe summarize a few interesting points from what he said, or anything like that?
I mean, look, he gave a very good counterbalance to the mainstream view, which I must say I don't know anything about anything, I don't know much about military stuff, but the Hill. Let's start with the Hill. Had this great segment. They talk about that a military general in US is saying that Russian army will collapse in 10 days, and then, surprising to me, Ryan and Robby were both like, it could be potentially possible. And I was like,
What?
I was
Even
so
mainstream
shocked.
media wouldn't say this.
No, it's Google it right now. They're be saying that since yesterday. I've been saying that. And again, Kim exactly had the same reaction that we're having, which is, what the fuck are you talking about in 10 days? This is like a country with a proper army. Like, it took America 20 years to leave Afghanistan. It took Russia, I think they were in Afghanistan 6 years. Soviet Union was in Afghanistan 6 years. 82 they went in, I think, till 1807 or 8. So I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But this idea that in 10 days Russian army is going to collapse. I mean, and then Ryan Graham tries his best to sort of semantically just, no, maybe by collapse they mean the Russian army will come to, their advances will come to an halt, and then, they don't have the same supply chains we had in Iraq. Well, man, I mean, the Hill themselves had somebody who was in Russia, and there's this guy Robin Wright, who's a great reporter as well, I think, from blogging his TV. He had a couple of people from Russia. What do you think? Like, do you think that your sanctions, Russian people are just running around naked and hungry? Oh no, McDonald's. Like, what do you think is happening in Russia that it's gonna collapse if, I don't know, this nonsense about. So I loved that at least somebody was acknowledging that, it's a war. It's not, everything is not going according to the plan of Russians.
So let me
but
say something.
Of course, considering their,
So it's a good thing, I guess, there are 3 people on the Hill. One of them always gives the reaction response that you want. Okay, but all jokes aside, this kind of like General Macgregor was saying that the reason that the Russians are moving, quote unquote, I don't know, slower than you think, or their progress is slower, is that they're not they're trying their best not to target civilians and areas with a lot of like civilian infrastructure, and they're trying not to target, the heart of Ukraine, where there's all the agriculture and wheat production going on, and that's where Aaron Maté got into a little funny back and forth with them, because because General Macgregor was like, yeah, even us, the Americans, we didn't deliberately kill Vietnamese or Iraqis, and Aaron Maté wanted to try to push back about that, and General Macgregor just told him, go have that fight with somebody else. But yeah, that was one interesting thing that he was saying. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you look at the number of casualties, there are a lot, like we mentioned, even not, sorry, there, it depends how you see it, but in a way, given the size of the war, and then you think about, when Israelis attack Palestinians for like 2 days, they're like 200 something. When you look at the number of casualties, and like I've said, even one person is too many. I'm not saying that, it's okay killing X amount of people, but it did support his narrative a bit. I mean, if you take like the non-Ukrainian figures of the casualties, I don't know. And then he was saying the Russians are allowing people to go out of some humanitarian corridors,
That
but it
seems
is
to be the case.
actually
Usually.
they're being blocked from going out by
Look,
some of the forces and part of the Ukrainians. But yeah, go ahead.
look, in politics, again, nobody's a good guy or a bad guy. The reason why Russians are attacking civilians and civilian infrastructure is two reasons. One is that they don't want to cause a backlash, and they want to probably they want to be viewed as sort of liberators of the Ukraine, and denazifying Ukraine. And secondly, because they don't want to hit the supply chain of the wheat and the raw materials and all that. So it's not even like you don't have to think they're good guys or bad guys. But at the same time, when you have a military, as in that's where yes, you don't specifically target civilians, but as was the case with Vietnam, Afghanistan, I assume is the case with Russia and in Ukraine. And I'm trying to think last time somebody else
attack someone,
like with Saudi,
Libya, Yemen,
I mean that's more just somebody besides America. But
well, the Russians in the other wars that they've had, you can
and wherever you have troops on the ground, okay, you usually have to do hardcore operations, and for those operations you basically need fucking psychopaths who would kill people, and you can't put those psychopaths under too much of fucking constraint. You have to give them a bit of a loose you might not sort of approve of what they're doing, but you might not stop them because you need them someday to go and murder like a family and burn them alive, and not many people do that shit, so naturally war crime is going to happen. That's why war is the worst thing that could ever happen. So this, I mean, I'm sure they're not like the command is not specifically targeting civilians, but I'm sure they're making a lot of mistakes. I'm sure there's a lot of these sort of groups that they allow to operate, just maybe not at this point in the war, but in future points. Who knows?
If it continues. I mean, I was reading a bit that now we've I mean, the war seems like it could go in two directions. One is that, in a week or two, they reach some kind of agreement, or if not, it just gets prolonged for longer. But I guess I can come back next week and say this again, and people could say that. But yeah, it seems to be like at a particular crossroad in this way. I mean, everything's always at a crossroad, but
yeah, it seems to be moving on. I mean, Zelensky said that they're not going to join NATO, and the Russians are saying that there is some movements in the negotiations. So we'll see. But the coverage is off. Like worst coverage of a war I've ever seen, I would say. I mean, I don't know. Nah, that's probably too much.
Yeah, but I mean,
Libya was pretty.
It does have a particular, some particularities to it that perhaps we hadn't seen before. When they were talking about these are Europeans and these kind of things. So maybe this particular context of it brought out even worse reporting than usual. I don't know, perhaps.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, that was fun.
But I guess we'll see. Anything else here to talk about with Russia, Ukraine, or?
Let me see. No, not really. I don't think so. I mean,
anything else progressive?
Russia sanctioned what's his name, Biden.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you haven't Biden and Hunter Biden and Jen Psaki, a lot of like high officials. I mean, it would be interesting if someday that would actually hurt them, but I don't think it would. But yeah.
I don't think Biden should be getting on a plane or anything and going anywhere or doing anything anyway. But yeah, I guess sanctioned from like entering Russia or something.
Well, I get, but I guess if he has a bank account there, I mean, Hunter might be hurt by this because Hunter had a lot of business interests across the world. So, he might be able to make less deals. So.
Yeah, well, hopefully it comes to an end, the war, as soon as possible. There's little casualties and whatever in the real world that we live in, the best possibly that can happen emerges. And on top of that, I hope Europeans and everyone still keep on loving Ukrainians as much as they've loved them until now, because I'm going to keep my eye on this even after. I just hope they maintain the same behavior. And I don't know, they promised them the EU, right? The Russians aren't against that. So maybe they should give them the EU membership. They said they're fast tracking that. So do the Russians oppose that?
They will like it, but I don't know if they oppose it. Yeah. Actually, that's the thing. I don't think they would. I think Russians would, because Russians don't want to pay for development either. They want you. Like, that's the thing. The Russia's problem with U.S. government was not that they actually just expanded in like Europe. I think that's a mistake to think that. Russia's problem was that, why don't you cooperate with us in the expand? It's the same problem with Iran. People think Iran and US, they hate. Iran loves US. Iran wants to be US. All Iran's problem is that, why are you working with Saudi? Why don't you work with us? And because you're too large and you could become a real competitor someday. So they would never, like, that's what Russia and Iran never understand, and that's why they always get tricked by America. So it's just I mean, I don't know, maybe they would. European money would be welcomed by Russians, I think.
Okay, Sam, let's continue. Let's move on to quick hitters. I think we have two nice little fun articles here. So why don't you get us going again?
Sure. So I got really annoyed by this week's like, it's just, I hate it when this happens to the news, that it's just one news. It's just Ukraine now, and we all have to just pay attention to Ukraine. There is nothing else. So I started just Googling just funny random news and stuff, and I came across this religious artwork removed after local priest and businessman found among holy images. The image featured the head of the charity which commissioned the painting of Saint Sabinus meeting Saint Benedict, which cost £17,000, as well as the priest who runs the cathedral. Now, I hope you just put the picture up right now. It's amazing. I mean, first of all, the businessman in the bottom, I mean, everybody in this picture, first of all, everybody, just put aside the businessman and the priest. Everybody in this picture is looking at someone very weirdly like this.
But wait, which one is the businessman? Oh, he's the guy with the mask?
Yeah, yes, I'm glad they didn't put a modern day mask on Saint Benedict. That would have been quite fun.
What is going on in this picture? Okay, maybe the article will let us.
It's connecting Christianity throughout history to modern day times, I assume. But look from the left to right. Everybody, the guy who's he's writing something, he's got a feather in his hand. He's looking at that girl weirdly. The girl who's holding some kind of a cup, she's looking weirdly at outside. The child above the businessman, she's like, look at my homework. I did my own. The kid at the bottom with a blue t-shirt, which is that kid, by the way, that kid doesn't seem to belong to whenever Saint Benedict was from.
But so many of them don't. I mean, I don't understand. It's as if the lower part of the picture is like been photoshopped.
Yeah, exactly. It's a painting, but it looks like photo. The best is the priest, because there is a cross covering most of his face, And I don't get the point of like, what was the point of including him if you can't see any of his face? But this is great because I just wanted to get to the details.
Yeah.
A religious work of art has been removed from an Italian basilica after a local priest and a businessman who commissioned the painting were found among the holy villages. Were found.
But hold on.
There was a whole search team. There was a SWAT. They were found underneath.
But hold on. I get okay, I'm being fair here, man. I get maybe some backlash over the businessman, but the local priest, he couldn't feature in. I mean, he's a religious figure.
Come on. No, man, but what the fuck? Like, it's like Trump. According to some people, he had a mirror that has the Time magazine man of the year. I mean, wait. The painting was gifted to the cathedral. I mean, I love that, like giving a gift of, for example, I give a gift of myself next to like, I don't know, Imam Ali, like doing this, like such a weird gift to give. A painting was gifted to the Cathedral of Canossa in Puglia.
I think Puglia. I've heard
Puglia?
it. I think
right.
so. Yeah.
Southern Italy, but caused controversy upon further inspection. The image featured the boss of the charity. The boss, and it's in Italy. So you can imagine this charity is not exactly the most. I mean, I genuinely hate all charities. I mean, I don't know all charities, but I think most of them are money laundering schemes, really. And they're useless, and it's just to make you feel good for yourself. But this guy sounds really, authentic. The image featured the boss of the charity, which commissioned the £17,000 painting of Saint Sabinus meeting Saint Benedict, as well as the priest who runs the cathedral. Artists wanted to portray, quote, two authoritative representatives of community. So that's why the businessman and the priest were included. People shared their own reproduction of the artwork online, featuring other famous faces inserted onto the canvas. I hope I haven't been able to find any, but I hope I find some and send it to you by the time you edit this, and we can.
If this picture wasn't like embedded into the article, I would have thought this is one where people ended random stuff. But I guess this is the original.
So random.
Yeah. And why the mask? What?
I mean, that's the thing. The mask. I mean, I just if he added the mask to Saint Benedict or Saint Sabinus or whatever, that would have just added a surrealism that would have put it up there with Dali. Giuseppe. Is that?
I was going to go with Giuseppe, but I don't know.
Giuseppe, yeah, probably. That's the name of Pinocchio's dad, right? If I'm right. Antonio Lomischio, the artist behind the painting, told local media that he claims full autonomy in my interpretive choices. I mean, you have to at this. But he said his choice. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, keep on interrupting you. I feel bad for the artist too, though. I would have been like, why not? This is the priest. Let me put it in there.
For him?
No, I mean, I understand why the priest put those guys in, why the artist put those guys in. He's like, yeah, I mean, I'll put the priest as well. Why not? The businessman as well. Why not? The whole thing is ridiculous, so I don't get it. Why not? I don't understand. I'll be like, what's the issue?
Having a painting of saints done is not as ridiculous as inserting like modern day figures. And I mean, he got paid £17,000 for this shit.
But I'm sure it's a big painting, man. Just like I don't know if that involves the cost of the material and all that.
Yeah, you could have gotten it like on. There is so much better shit on. Pinterest. Go on Pinterest, save image, then you can have it printed. You don't need to pay £17,000 to some. I hate. Yeah. Anyway, he said his choice of the subjects represented in the composition was the quote unquote result of a free artistic interpretation dictated by the need to tell the story of devotion to the saints. Okay,
Sam, I think it makes sense though. I think the artist is like
I mean, if you're devoted to that,
doesn't this priest run the cathedral? Let me put him in there as well. Like, it's his cathedral. I don't know. I think the artist
It's
shouldn't feel
very-
any of the backlash. The priest should have been
I-
like, I like it, but maybe remove it and I'll just take this picture of me for myself. It's the priest and the businessman who should have, been a
No, I
little bit
disagree.
smarter. I think they should have been
No,
a little
I
bit
mean,
smarter.
No, I think it's even if the priest and the businessman were saying that maybe you could include us, it's the artists who should have some level of fucking, self-respect and say no, like it doesn't work. I mean, maybe they go to another artist. I don't know, but yeah, I think he's.
I don't know. I
equally
think
to
the
blame.
artist here is the victim. If
No!
you ask me.
Please make me a victim. Pay me £17,000 and I'll draw you a stick man with Jesus.
At the very least, he's not in the wrong.
Yeah, he's in the. He's definitely. I mean, it reminded me there is a great sketch from a live show of. I don't know if it's Monty Python or if it's one of the other live shows from British comedians. It's John Cleese and the guy who sings in the Monty Python guys. I forget his name right now. But anyway, he's he just done the original painting on the chapel in Italy, in Rome. And he's like in the original version, like the first draft type thing. And he's like, the Pope is like, why did you put 4 Jesuses in there? And he's like, well, I wanted to balance it out. There's a thin Jesus and a fat Jesus. I wanted to have a fat Jesus. And it's just, this guy has gone full like artistic. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little girl there from modern time. Then there's the priest looking from behind the cross like a creep.
Have you seen these other paintings?
So
It's
weird.
not, I mean, for me, the weirdest one is the little boy. And the businessman, the rest, and the guy with the scarf. He looks like he's they had the scarf. Yeah, the little boy.
He's
Is
the
that the
creepiest
businessman's
because he's kind
son?
of looking at you.
Yeah, and the color of his
Problem.
shirt. I don't think back in the day maybe people did wear these colors, but
And
I don't know.
the
It looks quite
problem-
modern. The color of his
problem
shirt.
is, look, if you look at the painting, look at the lady or the angel on top
Yeah.
that is holding a baby, and like there, it's sort of these realism, like painting realism. But then when you come down, I mean, it's all painting, but the guys, like the kid that is looking at you creepily, it looks genuinely like Photoshop. It doesn't look like a
Honestly,
painting.
It looks like our thumbnails because I take like pictures of people and then I put it on the web and these apps that remove the background and then you can stick it wherever you want.
Exactly.
And I feel like they got the businessman and the kid from like another photo, went on the website, removed the background and added it to this painting. The painting.
I hope this is not a. I hope this is not some kind of fucking like a joke news that I'm reporting as serious.
I mean, the whole thing is a joke, so.
It is joke, but like this is not actually real. Somebody just made up.
I mean, it's Sky. I don't know, Sky News, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that means much.
I mean, it is pretty. Sky is it's not as bad as Fox, but it's pretty close. So could be. I don't know, but yeah, I think the artist should be punished.
No, does he say anything else? So he wanted to portray 2 authoritative representatives of the local community.
Yeah.
He said during the process that not asked to be. Oh, okay. So he said during the process they had both asked not to be portrayed, but it seems he tried to make them less evident by adding a COVID mask to Sergio Fontana, president of the Archaeological Foundation. Miz has since said he was willing to revise the work before it goes back. I don't know, man. If this artist wasn't himself too religious, he might have just been too confused from everything. He's like, wait, so you're giving me 17,000 and you don't want to be in it? Don't worry about it, man. I'll put you in it. Don't be like that. Let me put you in it. The whole thing is so ridiculous. So I don't know.
What do you mean No, there was a priest and a businessman. They commissioned a painting for a basilica in a church or cathedral or whatever. And this motherfucker just. And they said,
I'm joking, but
you want me to add a modernism by including you in it? And they were like, no, we don't want that. No, thank you. And he was like, no, but it adds just another layer to the. I mean,
but maybe they had like a face-to-face conversation, and like they were like, no, don't put us in there. No, we wouldn't want to be in. So he's like, I got you. Yeah.
I don't want to be next to Jesus,
I don't know.
handing
I
out.
feel like we need to get the side of the artist here. I don't know. I feel like
Let's try to email him. Let's try to email him and see. No, I must say, let's have him on. Let's try to have him on the show, and
Man.
I'll be the bad cop. You be the good
But
cop.
honestly, they should have asked for their money back in general, because I've seen better stuff for sure.
Again, Pinterest. I highly like. I don't really understand people paying for art in general. I never understood it. Like, but yeah, good luck to them.
But yeah, anyway, there are
I-
always
and
two sides to
frankly-
a story. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need to get
And
the
frankly-
art.
Yeah, I
Joking.
find this whole style of painting, especially. Have you seen? I saw it once in somebody's house
Mm.
that they had some kind of these sort of like two angels touching or whatever. And
they're very
it's
common.
just so tacky. No, but in like not in a house, are they? I've seen them in
Yeah.
cathedrals and shit.
Yeah, I think maybe older
Of-
people's houses and stuff. Yeah, you can see
So
things like
bad.
this.
It's so tacky, man. I mean, I think wallpapers are tacky, but this is another level of tackiness. Like having like a baby, naked baby flying on your wall.
But that's what they do. There's always some baby who's flying in these.
Yeah, it's angels. Those are the angels. I believe. I think they are angels. I don't know what the fuck. Maybe they're nymphs or something. I don't know.
But okay, let's move on to the next article.
Next article is not quite as funny,
No.
but it's equally interesting, I would say. So, are you familiar with James Blunt?
Yeah, but he's a singer, right?
Yeah, he's a singer.
Yeah.
He's very interesting because he's actually he's a pop singer who he openly mocks his own fans and his own music, and he admits that his own music is pretty much shit. And he's actually was a soldier at some point, which is really surprising to me. Where he was in like the Kosovo or Yugoslavian war or something. But
Oh,
listen
that-
to this, James Blunt's song deployed on protesters in New Zealand following Manilow and the Macarena after the musicians suggested using it. Frozen's Let It Go, Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On, and Barry Manilow's greatest hits have all been used to annoy protesters in New Zealand. However, the demonstrators have responded with their own songs. So, New Zealand authorities have turned to music of James Blunt in their latest musical effort to move protesters camped
What?
outside Parliament. The demonstrators who were angry about COVID-19 vaccine mandates were initially bombarded with Barry Manilow greatest hits. I love Barry Manilow. Like the first, it was the Kalashnikov of like the music is Barry Manilow. Like you want to get rid of people, get some Barry Manilow, get some Barry Manilow. So good. Greatest hits plus the 1990s dance tune Macarena, which I feel like is a standout in all of Macarena. Is a fantastic
I
song.
thought everybody likes that song.
That's exactly tells you why it's so disgusting. So. But yeah. I mean, I have some. I mean, I was a kid when it came out, so I
Of
guess I
course.
can be excused for. But it's Macarena is a song that is just it's. I don't know. In my head, it's the most pre 9/11 song ever. I don't know if it is actually.
Yeah, oh
But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah, it is from the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Batman Greatest plus the Macarena all played on a loop from one of Parliament's loudspeakers. I mean, but on Saturday evening, UK time, British musician Blunt tweeted an offer of help, sharing a news story about the protesters being blasted with the sounds of Manilow. He wrote, "Give me a shout if this doesn't work." At NZ Police, New Zealand Police. A few hours later, it appeared his offer had been accepted, with the star's most famous hits, You're Beautiful, being played over the loudspeaker. Protesters seemed undeterred, however, singing other songs over the hit and dancing in the rain. So I think this confirmed New Zealand as a joke nation that is.
Oh my
Like,
God.
I'm sorry, but this is like level of your the the government. I remember, man, in 60s, we used to go out and the government used to pray man and law. And we would run, we would cover our ears, but sometimes it would just get in, you know, the tune would just, the Macarena tune would just get in and we had to move our hips somehow. Like, I don't know what the fuck, yeah. This New Zealand country, I love to move there. It seems like the best. It seems like, what was, again, those bears that used to hug everybody and have Care Bears.
Oh, okay.
It seems like I feel like this country is made by Care Bears for Care Bears. Sounds fantastic. The protest in New Zealand began on Tuesday when a convoy of vehicles arrived at Wellington Parliament building, adopting the name Convoy for Freedom and blocking some of city's streets. Numbers dwindled on Wednesday, but increased again over the weekend. The protesters have been inspired by similar rallies in Canada, but their list of grievances have expanded to include general dissatisfaction with Jacinda Ardern's government. So, 122 people were arrested. That's I didn't read, but yeah. So, you know,
I'm kind of speechless.
Yeah. As far as wars go, this is the best. Like, I would have loved if Ukrainian-Russian war is being conducted the same. Yeah, we're gonna play Macarena. Fuck you. We are playing Aqua. Like, what is going on? Yeah, I don't know. The greatest hits from 80s is coming on now.
Someone runs from Parliament, the New Zealand's like, no, play this CD. Trust me. No, play this.
Just put this flash in. They won't feel a thing after. I mean, to be fair, there are like I must say, as somebody who knows very little about music and hates anything that is a slightly avant-garde or radical, like if like I could put up with a lot of torture. I think I'm pretty I'm unresponsive to pain, but if they start playing rap music or hardcore metal music, I will confess everything. Like Metallic, like I remember, we went together. Do you remember Prodigy? Like concert? Yeah.
Prodigy's good. I don't mind. There are like 1 or 2 songs that are fun.
I'm sorry, it was the most boring. I was dying of
boring.
boredom.
I mean, you didn't like the music probably, but I mean,
exactly.
But Prodigy had one or two.
That's what I'm saying. Literally, I find it rock music to hard, like metal, hardcore, whatever. The one that the guitars are really loud.
Yeah,
that one is, and rap music. I find I can't. Like, I would confess everything: national security, family security, all of it.
But Jesus, man. And at the bottom of the article, it's funny, the loudspeakers have also played Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On, the Frozen hit Let It Go, and viral children's song Baby Shark. Now I think with Baby Shark they were like, this one is gonna do it, trust me, this is the one.
This will knock them out. And by the way, I know Baby Shark very well. It's a good song, I must say. I feel it's better than Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the Frozen's Let It. I mean, even Barry Manilow. I mean, we made fun of him, but they are not. I don't understand how did that. I don't know. It feels like there's loads of other worse options out there.
Maybe New Zealand, they particularly hate these, but hey, let's give it to the government. I mean, it's better than chasing them
drone
out with guns or pepper spraying them, or
next we're gonna have a special screening of some of the worst 1960s sitcoms. Like, we're gonna force you. We are to get rid of protesters. They are playing How I Met Your Mother on the walls of the parliament. People running away. No,
man. Honestly, I think you outdid yourself with these 2 articles this time. They were amazing. They were, and I like that you picked 2 of them. You know, like they were both very much justified. I very much enjoyed them. I don't know about others, but I mean, the first one was just weird in numerous ways, and this one was just hilarious.
This one is. Yeah, again, this is our future, everybody, probably, because New Zealand, like in future, government trying to get rid of us will play shitty music. You know, I don't know. We'll see.
But
It's
yeah, it's
fantastic.
interesting.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's all I had to share. Again, Ukrainian monopoly of news hasn't forced me to really go look for shit.
All right, Sam, let's move on to our last segment, progressive tweets, which is also the segment that we got a specific shout out for on Useful Idiots on the Callin by Rena. So yeah, I guess it is a semi-popular slash dumb, extra dumb segment that we do, but
Like
sometimes
yellow pages.
yeah, but sometimes there's more to it. But okay, let's first start with a post that is actually not from Twitter. This is only the first time I got this one from Instagram. Maybe we can start doing progressive Instagram posts as yeah, progressive Insta, I like that. But yeah, man, this one is actually not very funny. I mean, Abby Martin said that YouTube just banned almost 600 episodes of her old show, Breaking the Set. So I guess that means they deleted it. So she wrote, years-long censorship campaign culminated in tech giants purging thousands of my critical interviews and reports about US empire. This is a modern equivalent to book burning. A chunk of the historical record was just deleted in the blink of an eye. To get access to the archive and updates about my current work, sign up for my newsletter. But yeah, I mean, thankfully these are still somewhere else and they've been kept at all this. But I mean, people don't even go back in time really and watch old segments of these things. So I mean, I don't even understand their censorship only looks bad on them half of the time, really. Like it's like it doesn't even look good on you. Be a bit smarter. But hey,
I mean, look, they're not trying to appeal to you or me or her or anyone. They're appealing to shareholders and investors and bodies in Washington and
you're
LA
absolutely
and all
right.
that. So
in that way it makes sense. But
yeah,
those shareholders and stuff should know that they're doing the most useless things for them, and they're providing counter arguments that at the very least can be raised. Maybe they're not effective, but at the very least you can raise these things and be like, oh, you talk about censorship, look what the fuck you did. But then again, they're immune to this kind of hypocrisy or double thinking or double standard. They don't give a shit. So I guess ultimately you're right.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, there is a good chance there is a blowback and censorship will cause actually more stress and effect and more attention to the thing. But there is a lot of examples where it works, man.
Yeah, I know.
They get rid of people and it's fine. Phil Donnie, who got fired, nobody, like, what happened? Who gives a shit? Anybody got
You're right.
too?
But at least, that makes, okay, at least from their messed up, like, position, it makes sense because, okay, you don't want anybody to be critical of war right now on your network, so you will not allow this fellow to do that. I mean, at least I see a point in that. But yeah.
Same with Turtle, right?
Yeah, but going back, deleting her old stuff, or I mean, the way they go after.
All right, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Pepe Escobar, who always puts like a lot of news on Twitter. Some I don't really understand, but some I understand.
This is like a telegraph. Rubar approaching Russia. Napoleon coming. What is going on?
Let me read the tweet. You're right. So he wrote, "It's unraveling very fast. The house of
very fast.
Yeah, the house of one Saudi committing genocide in Yemen advances the coming of the petroleum. India, third largest oil importer in the world, will buy Russian oil in rupees. Stupidest sanction blowback in effect." So even since
stupidest
done sanction blowback in effect. So this is something he's been arguing for a few weeks. Even last week we had some tweets where he's saying these sanctions don't have such a quote unquote unified front as you may think that they have, and you were already seeing pockets. And I mean, the response of East to Ukraine has been very much different and not aligned to, with the Europeans necessarily. Like the own allies of Europeans and Americans on the east of Ukraine don't really necessarily fully see eye to eye. I'm talking about UAE, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Israel one. I mean, the Saudi one to me is quite interesting because they actually made an apparently agreement to even build some refineries or something in China for Russian oils. And to me, like, Saudi always seemed pretty much like a proxy state. Like they
Yeah.
didn't like, and I can't really understand how they're standing up to US, because frankly, US can go like that, and they're whole like they have no military, they have no, you know what I mean? There is literally, they are held. Israel
Is
is a
it the
different
oil?
case. India
Is it the
is a different
oil?
case. Okay, but like, yeah, but then like, I would assume everybody in Aramco is bought by Americans. I assume, like like I can't, like the relationship is so intertwined. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by their level of independence they are sort of
Yeah.
displaying, I must say. Because India, Israel, all that, yeah, I can understand. You know, they have enough. And I think increasingly everybody's noticing that world is moving towards China. So, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, some of their interests, I mean, I think, I don't know, I mean, some of their direct interests with Russia, you know, maybe that's also doing, but yeah, it's, I mean, it's all the
You
same.
mean in
Like
Saudi?
UAE, yeah, UAE and Saudi, UAE especially,
I know,
I don't know.
but in my
Yeah.
like
No, I'm confused
estimation,
I'm as confused as
they
you
were
are.
basically colonies, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you know, I assumed Ukraine's benefit was in, I assume Zelensky wanted to even say that Ukraine will be neutral, like before the war started, will be neutral. But it was, I assume Americans were telling him like, don't. So it's, I mean, like my assumption was that the day Saudis stop backing US government, they will have the same fate as Ashraf Ghani had in Afghanistan. Like they will have to be flown out within a day or two. But no, maybe not. Maybe I was completely. Maybe they have have their own.
This is something I would like to explore some more. There hasn't been I mean, I don't follow every bit of analysis, of course, but I feel like, you know, more analysis would be welcomed on exactly these three countries. You know, perhaps why they are going this way, which is interesting.
Three. So, oh, UAE.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even count, like that's the thing. Like in my head, it's like Saudi Arabia and UAE and Bahrain are all same country basically. So it was very surprising. I'm joking about that, by the way.
Nice.
But yeah, so it's I mean, I mean, it's surprising, but it seems to be actually happening. The whole petrodollar thing actually, you know, coming into under question.
Yeah.
Well, it would be so funny if during the next year or so, due to this, Iran and Venezuela become staunch allies of US. Like Venezuela is already sort of almost.
They're trying to flip.
So funny. Yeah, they already did. Venezuela is also releasing prisoners and shit. So I think I would love it if in a year or so it's all flipped and like Iran is suddenly deaf to Russia. It's just everything is changed. Guys, change the name of they keep the deaf too, but change like Fox News coming on defending Iranians against Saudi regime. That would be fantastic.
Let's see. But okay, this next tweet, very quickly, Aaron Maté just congratulated Jimmy Dore on hitting 1 million subscribers. I thought that had happened a few weeks, a month ago, but then I checked. He was stuck a bit at 970,000, I believe. So he hit 1 million.
Nice, very nice.
So yeah, congrats.
Actually, he does mention that. I'm sure you actually reached this milestone a while ago. It's still nice for YouTube to finally let us celebrate. So yeah, maybe there is a bit of. I mean, again, I feel like the thing that algorithm does that may be a bit unfair is that they don't. I mean, that's what I've seen. They don't show videos to that many new people after a while, I think.
Yeah, that seems to be a thing. Like some of our old videos that would get a lot of subscribers, it was like 90% people not subscribed. Now we're lucky if we hit like the 50%. But then again, like I said, YouTube still gives us 50% and we're not converting those guys. But
yeah, so yeah, it's at the same time you can't blame.
But sometimes they don't give us 50%. A lot of the times it is really like 75%. Often right now is like 70% subscribers, 30%. Yeah, something in that range, 30% unsubscribed. So
no, but I assume the Jimmy Dore show though might be more in focus. So they might, I don't know, they might put it more on a algorithm that is, oh, this is misinformation or something. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. Okay, the next ones I'm kind of torn. So I think maybe
What
this,
is
I don't
that?
know what's going on. So AOC
Oh shit.
randomly got up one day, or I don't know, maybe this is like a debate going on somewhere, but she got up and decided to tweet, we had trigonometry and pre-calc start at 7:20 in the morning. Students would have to arrive at school before sunrise, and every adult in the building act like this was all completely reasonable. Still mad about it.
I mean, I'm known for not liking her, but love this tweet.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what is your problem with it. I mean,
yeah, no, I'm kind of.
Man, I used to. That's exactly like. They used to wake us up at 6:30 to go to school at 7 and then do this fucking bullshit calisthenics of doing this, which had no health value or whatsoever. And this madness, why did we have to get up so early?
But I have to say something.
I want to murder so many of my teachers. Like, I don't have respect for teachers. Bunch of sadistic assholes that want to bring you so they can have some power trip because they've lost everything in their life.
A lot of them, I don't disagree with you too much, a lot of them. But I mean, yeah, 7:20 is extreme. But I think most of the schools I've gone to my whole life, it was somewhere between 8 and 8:30.
Yeah, because you went to fancy schools, even in Iran. Like I went to fancy schools, but they were
no. In Iran, I know that in Iran it's particularly early though, and then kids finish really early. But I mean, I think around 8. No,
they don't. In high school, you stay overnight because of the examination that you have.
Fine, that's Iran though. Let's try to stick a bit.
No, everywhere, even.
But yeah, 8 or 8:30 I've been to. And I think around 8:30-ish is the sweet spot in a way, because you have
from
to also
our generation.
Yeah, I get it, but I think 8:30-ish is possibly the sweet spot because people have to show up to work for 9. So if parents are going to drop off their kids at school if they have to, or if they have to help them prepare. I mean, what time would you think school should start? I think 8:30-ish is reasonable.
I think I read about it a couple of years ago in Finland or Sweden. They should say that you can show up between, like, I don't know, 10 to 12. Show up.
What? But what is the kid supposed to do until 10 o'clock if the parents go to work or something?
What do you mean? Just stay home.
Alone? Like leave a 6-year-old alone? Like 7-year-old alone?
Yeah. Oh, okay. This was for,
between 10 and 12 older. Though. No, that's absolutely late. I don't think anybody would agree with this. I would like to hear other people's takes. I think 8:30-ish makes sense. Like, come on, 10 or show up between 10 or 12. That's not even true. Is that true? Are you spreading misinformation? I don't believe that. I think you're spreading lies. There's no way that's a thing. Show up between 10 and 12. The things you hear about the Scandinavian countries, it's like I'm not sure if this
all right. 10 reasons. Wait. 10 reasons why Finland's education system is best in the world from World Economic Forum. So it starts somewhere between 9 to 9:45. Okay, so that's
somewhere you do show up. Yeah, I mean 9. I think 8:30 or 9 is perfect. Or yeah, you can have like an area where the kids can come either like play or like work on some homework or whatever until like 9-ish, because people show up to work at 9, so you know they want to drop their kids off if they have to drop them off or not. They take the bus and all this. But what AOC is saying here,
I don't give a shit about people. I mean, you keep bringing up these people going to work and families, and I don't care. Like, change your. I mean, why do we have uniform work hours? Why do we have uniform school hours? I think every school,
But how would you work? Like, I mean, to a certain extent, it has to be uniform, not fully. But listen, if you're working and you don't know, and the other business like works like totally different hours, like, you know, sending emails, you can telephone people. What, you show up to some place to buy to stores to buy like groceries or something? One is open at this time, one at the other time. I don't know.
I'm not. Okay, good point. Shops. I was gonna say banking. I'm making exception for banking and governmental stuff, but I would say whenever I emailed a different business for something, it took them 2 days to respond or so. You know, it's not like, oh, I emailed them 8 in the morning and 8:30 they got back to me.
In some stuff though, in some stuff it has to be, yeah, you're absolutely right, but sometimes, you know, some things are urgent and they do
So
respond.
I don't know what I'm angry about.
Yeah,
It's
it's unclear.
just the memory of waking up in the morning. It just made me so angry. I hated it. To this day, I hated the school. I hated the teachers. To this day, I do. I mean, statistics. It's kind of like nurses. Whenever I've seen a nurse, they're so mean. They're also mean, and just unlike the versions they show in movies where like the teachers are inspiring and they are nice. I mean, I've had in A level I had some good teachers, but besides that, it was always like mean assholes who are there for a power trip.
Yeah, a lot of them are. I mean, of course, not everyone's always like that.
I'm a teacher.
Well, all right, let's move on. Let's keep this party rolling.
Don't mention waking up early to me, okay? It makes me go mad.
Let's go. We have a few more. So Matt Taibbi, so there's an article that he tweeted about. The article, the headline says, I haven't read the article, and just being transparent here. Chelsea Clinton calls on Facebook to ban Tucker Carlson. And Matt Taibbi, well, clearly this family, this is a family that teaches passionate devotion to core American values like free speech. Thank God that Chelsea Clinton is not a bigger character in our lives. I enjoy that. I mean,
I don't know.
You rarely hear about her.
No, but from what you do hear, she seems like a pretty funny gal. So she seems kind of like, she's one of the funnier.
Like she would provide
loser children.
Okay.
Yeah, she would
I don't know much about
great
her.
level. She had Ghislaine Maxwell in her wedding. Like that was like 4 years ago. That wasn't like that long ago. But yeah, I don't. But to be fair, I mean, I love Matt Taibbi and all that. But have they ever really been that much of a free speech advocate?
No, of course
they've
not.
Always been pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
But they've always been. So I don't see a hypocrisy even. They've always been.
No, I wouldn't choose hypocrisy. It's just saying, clearly. This is a family that teaches passionate devotion to core American. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, if you start dissecting it a bit, maybe in that way, exactly what they say. But I mean, they do stick to quote. I mean, they would themselves say that they represent core American values, probably.
Yeah, they. Of course. I mean, they and in many, not just core. By the way, I'm not picking on America. Core human value of corruption and sleaziness and just selling out as soon as you can. And you do represent that, and that is core value of humans, it seems. So
you're right.
Fair enough.
Okay, another interesting tweet by Pepe Escobar. So I don't know the level of what this is for true it is. He wrote, Putin, Callin, Russian minimum wage, public sector wages, social benefits, and pensions will all be raised. It's an interesting
makes sense.
piece of news.
But it doesn't, I must say, it's not surprising, or I don't think it will help much, to be honest, because whenever as somebody who's been through a couple of devaluation cycles, usually the devaluation is so much worse than any rise in minimum wage and all, your money devalues, but 80%, and then you have a rise of 30 to 40%. So I guess still you lost half of your money. It's
100%. And just under it, we already talked about this in Progressive Geopolitics. Aaron Maté just said that former top Pentagon advisor Colonel Douglas Macgregor on Russia. Colonel Douglas Macgregor. Anyway, you guys get what I'm saying.
Guy. G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe guy. But Bernie Sanders, after this, managed to write a tweet that is even more pointless than our podcast and me actually reading this tweet. I think me reading this tweet makes it at least gives some value to it. Bernie tweeted, or his team wrote, we need to end our dependence on fossil fuels.
Oh my God, Cameron, what a radical idea. Who came up with that? And what an idea that's just nobody discusses at all. I mean, wow, originality.
Hey, not every tweet, I guess, can be a banger. So it happens. We forgive you, Bernie, with this one.
What is this need to constantly tweet or talk? Or hey,
he got 9,000 likes, 1,100, 1,200 retweets. Should have looked at the comments. I'm curious what the 548 comments are about.
I would have loved if somebody went, no, we don't need to. I mean, but we need to end there. Anyway.
And finally, although I think the Bernie Sanders tweet was even worse than this, John Iodora wrote, "Don't panic, everyone, but yes, Anna Kasparian is joining me on a damage report in 25 minutes. Don't worry, John. No one is panicking or excited from Anna joining your fucking show."
No, but let's read the rest. What is it? Joining? What is the panic about? Oh,
I
just
don't
because
know.
Anna is joining?
Yeah, because he's trying to be funny that, you know, Anna is so popular and people love him so much, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. And they'll
He'll
be reacting to the new
Biolab narrative on Ukraine, the right wing advocating violence against teachers. Oh, that's me. Yes. Bunkers, housing history, and more. Okay.
It's me.
All right. Yeah, that
At
sounds
least
like
you
me.
recognize yourself.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
all
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, don't they always do like? Is that? Yeah. This is better than Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, I
tweet,
think
must say,
Bernie,
at least.
yeah.
You know, it's they're like announcing something. I mean, I would say they're always having shows together, aren't they?
I mean, I mean, they run the show along with 50 other random people.
Guest host.
It's, it's never
This
a
guy,
guest, never it has to host.
I guess this guy tweeted something against Glenn Greenwald, so he's
Yeah.
a guest host. All right, right. Very weak. I must say, very weak in terms of both culture, news.
Yeah, I mean,
Everything.
maybe it's more my
That's why I'm
fault,
yawning.
perhaps. Maybe it's perhaps
Why?
my fault, you know, didn't find better content. I was a bit busy this week, but hopefully we'll be back with a big, nice episode next week.
We had an interview with Andrew Cockburn. That was interesting.
Yeah, I listened to that. That was just
British
about
journalist.
nuclear and, you know, people being kind of more chill
Disarmament.
about nuclear and stuff, and like maybe use a little bit of nuclear, not too much nuclear.
Maybe a couple of bombs here and there. Who's
Yeah.
gonna notice? Just, you know, ecosystem will collapse. Who cares? Yeah. So no, that was but it's been pretty quiet. There's not much except, you know, Zelensky said that, Russians said that, this said that, this. So.
Yeah, and everybody on Twitter being like, I can't believe that he's asking for a no-fly zone. Do they not know what it means? And I think we should give up on this. I don't think anybody's gonna. Those who don't understand what no-fly zone, they're not gonna understand. It seems like.
Yeah, and even if they do, I mean. Yeah. I guess their argument would be that as soon as America announces a no-fly zone, Russia would back off. That's their argument, probably.
Yeah, that's not a good argument.
It could be the case, though, because air power of, you know, NATO is much higher than air power of just Russia. But at the same time, there's a good chance they won't. So yeah.
Yeah, but
anyway,
okay.
No, the worst thing is that everybody claims that they know what's happening. Like. They're not killing civilians, or they are killing civilians, or they're, you know, there was just this report that they bombed the queue of bread or something. And just some of the details they come up with feels like you can't know that. Like you know, there was a child, and as the child was taking his homework out of his bag, the bomb dropped next to. I mean, you can't know this detail. It's like you couldn't have been there.
Yeah, so, I agree with you there. But okay, all right, folks, please leave your comments, questions, concerns, criticisms, everything down below. We'll make sure to get to them. If not, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video.